Alright, so we're back. Alright, this episode is going to be building upon what we've learned in the last episodes. So if you haven't watched like the downloading of Unreal Engine and how to move around in here, then you might want to go watch that before you begin this. But this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to do some setup, because before we start using this, we need certain things to work correctly. Like I said in the last episode, when you press play, you can't really exit the game. So you need to be able to do that. So I'm going to show you how to set a few settings here that I like to set before I set any game. So let's set those settings here. And we'll be using this a lot. So the way you set your settings is you go to Edit, Project Settings. And it may take a second to load, but once it comes up, you're going to have all these settings that you can set. And it's so much. But don't worry, we're not going to go through all of it. Here is the project description. It's the first one. And basically you can just write the project description, which is the project name, which I want the project name to be, I think I want to build like a little horror type game. That's why I called it horror at the beginning. So I'm just going to call it horror test or something like that. Horror. Just horror. I don't know. I guess that works. Then you can set your project version. So this is like, because we're not releasing anything right now, we need to leave this alone. But once you start releasing different versions of it, you can set it here. There's a lot of other stuff you can set, but that's the first thing I like to set there. Then I like to come on this side, and I like to find maps and modes. It's right here. Maps and modes. So I want to make sure that the default game map is the map that we're starting in. And I'll know that it's the same map because it'll tell me the name of the map right here. So the name of the map is third person map. And that's perfect. We're coming straight into third person map. Editor is starting in the third person map. And when you start the game, it's going to start in the third person map. So that's perfect. If we have any other maps that we want to start it in, we just come in here and change this to that map. Another thing that I want to set up before we get started here is our motion blur. I can never remember where this is at, so I just type it in. So at the top here, just type in motion. Alright, so motion blur by default is turned on. And unless we're doing like a racing game or something like that, or a flight simulator or something like that, we don't need our motion blur on. It takes up a lot of memory, and without it off, things run very smoothly. Or with it off, things run very smoothly. So turn it off. So that's good. Motion blur is turned off. Everything's good there. One more thing, last thing. So input. Scroll down in engine. So you'll see project, game, engine. Scroll down to engine and then go to input. What we need to do is add an action mapping. So right here. So these are like when people play games, they press buttons on controllers or keyboards, and this is where we set that. We set those keys on what to do. So this one says axis now depreciated. Please use enhance input actions and input mapping context instead. I don't know what that even means. That's something new. But whatever, we'll still do it the old way. Anyways, so the first one we need to do is first click plus sign here. And then you're going to write quit the game. You can put spaces here, it doesn't matter. But make sure you have quit the game is the first one. And we need to find a way for it to quit the game. So where it says none, click your drop down, click on keyboard, and find the escape key. If you're having trouble finding it, you can just type up here, escape. And it'll pop up if you can spell it right. Alright, so if you want another button to also quit the game, then press plus sign. I like quit. Like sometimes people have that quit button. Let's see if they have like the quit. Quit the game is fine with me with just being escape. If you want another one, you could just put it there. But escape is fine. We can delete that off. So now that's set up, everything is good in our settings. Let's click X out of our settings. And now we're back in our regular scene. So if we press play now, we'll notice that if you click on it, you walk around, you can't press escape. And the reason why that is because we haven't set up the code. So in this episode, what we'll do is we'll finish setting up that code so that everything is set up for us. And maybe we'll even set up a sprint at the end of this too. So let's first set up that quit game. So press tilde to bring up your command bar and show your mouse. Then press stop. Don't worry about the error if you have any errors. Now, what we need to do is open your content browser down here. Make sure it go back to all at the top here, and let's click on content. We need the third person content. So click on third person, then you want to click on blueprints. This is our character, and all of the code for the character will be housed in the character. So double click on that character and let's open it up. Once it opens up, you'll see it has some code already there. And it's cool. It's titled. Each of the code circuits are titled. But we need to make our own. So find a blank space. You can just scroll in and out. Right click to move around like this. But find some blank space. And right click on your mouse. And then this search bar will come up. Now I want you to search for what we just made up. Quit the game. And once you search for quit the game, you'll be able to click on it. Then this will come up. So once that action is pressed, which we set it to escape, we want the game to quit. So drag off from this pin. So click right here and drag off and type in quit game. And once you type in quit, I just typed in quit G and this came up. And this is what we want. Perfect. Save, compile. Alright, so now once we can go out of here. Once you save and compile, save, compile, click X. Once we press play now, we can walk around and we press escape and the game stops. We're back in our editor. So that's perfect. Now, you saw me do that. We set up a quit game. Let's set up a couple other things real quick. So let's set up the sprint. So I will go back to the edit project settings and go into input mode, or the input, sorry. And then here I would add another action mapping. So we can minimize quit the game. And here's our new one. Let's call it sprint. Okay. And for the button, most people sprint with the shift button. So let's just type in left shift. Yeah, there we go, left shift. And if you're using a controller, well, let's type in plus. And you can use gamepad. So for the gamepad, if they're playing this game with a controller to sprint, I want them to use circle, because I've been playing Elden Ring a lot. So circle would be the right face button. So face button right. Cool. And that's the PlayStation controller when I say circle. Alright, that's set up for sprint. Let's close that down. Go back to your content browser, open up your character, and now we're going to type in, we're going to right click in an empty space, and we're going to type in sprint. Your sprint action comes up, and we need to set that up as well. So this one's going to be a tad bit more complicated. Let's go ahead and start the good practices first. Highlight both of these by clicking and dragging to highlight, and press the letter C. This will allow you to put a comment box on it. We're going to call this one quit the game. If you want that to appear when you're zoomed out, click this box right here. So there you go. So now I can always know that's my quit game. Easy to find. Alright, so sprint. Let's set this up. So here in sprint, we need to make it so that the player goes faster when you're sprinting and goes back to normal. Well, we've been in this event graph. Let's compile it. Let's save it. And look, notice that there's a viewport here. Let's go to the viewport. Hey, look, that's our character. On the left-hand side here, you're going to notice all the components attached to the character, like the camera, the little mesh bubble, the sphere so they can like interact with things, an arrow pointing which direction is forward for them, all kinds of things. But what we need is the character movement. Click on that. Scroll down until you see max walk speed, which is not going to be too far down. It's going to be right here, character movement walking, max walk speed. Their max walk speed is 500. Okay. So when they sprint, we need them to go like, let's say like 800 then, okay? So let's go back to the event graph. Cool. We're right here at our sprint. Take character movement and drag it out. So click and drag it out over here. We only need one of them. So just take one of them. And then you can like, there's a little pin here. You can click and drag off of that and say set, just type in here, set max walk speed. And we're going to use that one. And to duplicate that, you can press copy and paste. So Control C, Control V. And now I got two of them. Make sure you hook up the character movement to the target. It's color coded for you to make it easy. So when they sprint, we want them to go faster than 500. So connect that pin and let's set the speed. Right here is where we can type in how fast we want it. Let's say 800. Okay. And when they release the sprint button, we want to set the speed back to the original speed, which was 500. So let's type in 500 here. Perfect. But we need to set, when they release that button, the speed goes back to normal. Perfect. Compile, save. Let's see. Comment that. So highlight it and then comment by pressing C. Can't talk. And then we're going to call this one sprint. Cool. So let's test that one out real quick. Save. X out of that. And I can just press play. Click in the screen. I'm running regular. Now when I press the shift, I'm running faster. You can't really. Hey, there you go. You can notice it. It's pretty drastic. Regular. It's faster. Okay, alright, cool. Alright, so, oops, let's press the tilde key. We can just press escape, and that works. If you get errors, don't worry about it right now. We'll fix those. What it's saying is the static mesh has to be movable if you like to add impulse action. So basically the static mesh 4. So you would look for that. Let's fix that right now so that if you're getting that error, you don't continuously get that. So come into your outliner over here, and we're going to look at static mesh 4, which I'm pretty sure is one of these cubes here. No, I have no idea. Let's just type it in. I think it said static mesh 4. Yeah, I don't know. We'll fix it when it comes time to fix stuff. We're not even going to use all the meshes. That's what the 3D objects are. We're not going to use them here. So we'll fix that later. But don't worry about that. Right now we got the sprint and we've got the quick game. Let's check how long the video is. Okay. Probably want to just stop it on this one. So in the next episode, we'll set up some other things, because when you first start playing the game here, when you press play, you have to click in the screen, and that's not cool, you know, in order to start moving. When you press play, you should automatically just start playing the game. So in the next episode, we'll set that up so you don't have to click into the screen. Then we'll set up some other cool things. But you have your sprint now, you have your quick game, and you should be good. So I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.